Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Real big on community policing, caps24.org. Aldermanic and mayoral season. Hopefully at this point you've got your free copy of Jewish Chicago in hand with our voting guide for the North Side and the mayoral races and all the rest of that good stuff. It is a pleasure to introduce you to a candidate for alderman of the 45th Ward, the head of the chamber, working with, and I want to say hi to Kevin Bartholomew. Don Blair, how you doing?
Nice to see you again, Avi.
You too.
Yeah, just a point of correction. I was the head of the Economic Development Committee for Six Corners until I stepped down to run for alderman.
Please.
Yeah, so, so the campaign's going very well. I just wanted to sort of maybe start with my background a little bit.
Sure.
I grew up in a union household. My father was a Teamster, a truck driver, and I'm the only one in my family, of the extended family, ever to go to college, and I'm the only one with a graduate degree.
Wow.
And it's funny, I worked my way through school. I owned hot dog carts. You sell hot dogs at Home Depot?
Yeah.
That's what I did. That's how I worked my way through my undergrad.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and I ended up graduating with a BA in High Honors in Economics from Michigan State, and I have an MBA from the University of Chicago.
Wow, very impressive.
Well, I want to take that and leverage that and my business experience to turn around the economy of the 45th Ward, because we really need to do that. We've got one of the highest commercial vacancy rates in the entire city. It's by my estimate and by the estimate of a lot of commercial realtors I've talked to, somewhere around 40%.
Wow.
And that's horrible, because what that means is it's a risk to our property values as homeowners, because you have to have a balance of, you've got good, strong neighborhoods, but you have to have a balance of the good, strong neighborhoods and the commercial districts to support them. And when you have one and not the other, property values are at risk. So we really need to turn the ward around, and I have a strategy to turn around the economy of the 45th Ward in 2 terms. There's going to be a lot of heavy lifting, but we need to do it.
Very good. You want to give people the boundaries for those people who aren't aware?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest wards in the city. It starts down below Irving Park Road. It goes up Cicero, across Elston, up to Nagel, across Nagel, up to Devon. So it's like a big rectangle. It's very similar to the shape of the state of Illinois, actually.
Well, hopefully it's in better shape than the state of Illinois.
Well, you know what? That's. I would have to say that we're facing some of the same problems. I mean, we've had 25 years of a decline in businesses. Businesses are leaving; they're not being replaced, and that's a huge problem for us. I mean, last time I was with you, I told you that I had to drive out to Norwich to buy a bag of dog food. That's still the case. We need to turn the ward around. We need to bring businesses in. I mean, this election in the 45th Ward is really about economic development and creating good-paying jobs for people who live here. One of the things that I really think is important is that we put together programs to support businesses coming into the ward and those who need help. So we launched, last week, we launched something called the Business First Project. And what that is in the alderman's office, what we want to be able to do is to provide all the incentives together in one package for businesses. We've got state incentives, we've got county incentives in terms of property tax abatements, we've got municipal incentives like the Small Business Improvement Fund, which we put together something for that I'll get into for a second after this. But what I want to do is I want to bring those incentives together into a package. We want to help businesses that come to the ward by coming to the alderman's office, going through those incentives with them, helping them fill out their applications. And I also want to provide access to an expediting service for permits and licenses and such. So instead of being told, well, you got to go downtown and do this, you should be able to come to the alderman's office. I mean, the alderman is responsible for the economic vitality of the ward, the quality of life of the people who live there. We have to make it much easier, not much more difficult than it already is to do business in the city. I mean, it's a competitive market. I mean, you have to bring businesses into the ward, and you're competing with other wards, and you're competing with the suburbs to do that. So you have to provide the type of services that businesses are looking for. We've got plenty of great incentives. The Small Business Improvement Fund is a terrific incentive. It's up to $150,000 reimbursement. Three quarters of that is reimbursable. You can use it for your storefront. You can use it for the infrastructure of your business. If you need to put heat or furnaces in, cooler if you're a restaurant. And you can use it for all types of things, and people are using it now. But we need to leverage that much more so than we are.
Yeah, no, I would think so. And, you know, actually, that's a very interesting idea where things should be provided by the alderman's office, not just save people a trip downtown.
Right.
But, you know, like actually get stuff going within the ward itself.
Well, you know, in my response to the Sun-Times questions, and I had said that I think every alderman should have a quota for their business. They should have an economic health index for each ward. and you are graded on your ability to raise the score of that index. That means you have a quota, just like a salesperson has a quota, that they have to meet. You need to bring X amount of businesses to the board. You need to create X amount of jobs. I mean, we have that kind of accountability in the private sector, and we need to bring that to the public sector. That's the only way that we can turn things around, is to have accountability for results, and that's exactly, you know, what I'm oriented toward.
No, that's, you know, I like the business ideas. If your businesses are thriving, everything else goes from there.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've looked at this from every angle, and as an economist, I can tell you that, you know, we have had so many businesses leave, and I see exactly what it's doing to property values. Property values are declining, and you hear from people that, well, you know, it's about the economy. Well, you know, we went through the Clinton years, which was a boom, right?
Yeah.
We went through the first term of George Bush, which was a boom, but we still had businesses leaving. They're still leaving, and they're not coming back, and we need to do something to turn that around.
No, I think so, and unfortunately you're not in control of the income tax, because I think that hike is not going to be helping matters much for the state.
Well, yeah, it's not, but you know, we got to find different sources of revenue. We have to be more creative about it. I mean, when I gave my responses to the Tribune, I had said, let's look for new sources of revenue. Casino gambling is a great example. By some estimates, we could get between $300 and $500 million of revenue, not to mention the other lift from incremental sales taxes, from hospitality taxes. That could generate $800 to $900 million for the state of Illinois. I mean, we have to get to the point where we're willing to take on these new types of revenue to fill the gaps. Everybody talks about, what are you going to cut? Well, let's not start with cutting. Let's start with finding new sources of revenue first. And that's, I think it's extremely important. We need to do that.
Very good. Those are good ideas, definitely. If people would like to contact your campaign?
Yes. My campaign website is www.blair2011.com. My campaign phone number is 773-283-3133.
Don Blair, candidate for Alderman, 45th Ward. Good presentation. Wish you good luck.
Thank you so much.
And vote early. And I don't know about often, but make sure you vote. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sonny. Bye-bye.